funny because I'm kind of thinking about what I titled this video and like what music's being shown to me, what patterns I'm seeing, and the card. Well, the cards that came out when I was looking for an overall energy for the next 7 days, and then the card that came out. And the card that came out is Storm Warning in reverse. Funny thing is, I can't find the book for these cards, which is fine with me because I go mostly intuitively. I just enjoy what people put in them, and I think the meaning is kind of obvious. You know, it's funny, I'm realizing in the little structure that they have there, the piece that's crushed in the front kind of looks like a chess piece to me that's been smashed. And I mean, the overall energy that I get from this card is the storm is over and things are getting good, but it feels like this, no, it couldn't be, right? That's kind of energy, and that's kind of the signs that have been coming to me too, that, and it's 3:33 now, that this is a really good time to really think about what is all the good stuff that you've been calling in, that you've been wanting, and what are the reasons why you don't think that's possible, why that's too good to be true. I mean, say you've always like had a dream of your life being kind of like a rom-com, sweet and corny and happening with fun synchronicities and things like that. And let's say that this week that happens. You start seeing the signs of it. The person that you wanted to be courting you or giving you energy has doing so, or you've got multiple suitors, male, female, non-binary, who are pursuing you. You've got your money's going good, your family situation's going good. If you're a parent, your kids are behaving. And there may be some absurdities that come in the way, but the biggest absurdity at the moment is your mind. Part of the karmic carnival and also the energy of the great remembering. Because like a lot of that is in there. And it's interesting because there's this big energy of like delayed manifestations coming in. Like I've read several times, several other astrologers have talked about like, I mean, at least for those of us watching and knowing what Pisces season usually brings, we were expecting a certain amount of energy, that depth of emotion, the deep thoughts, the internal examination, maybe even some of the romantic stuff going on, and it didn't happen. Like it really should have happened kind of over the Valentine's Day area between Aquarius and Pisces. It didn't happen, but it's happening now. It's coming in, and it's funny because if you look at the astrology, it does make sense, and yet it also doesn't make sense. And then, like, I know an absurd amount of people. I think it's four now. First it was one, and then it was two, and now it's four of people who are like celebrating St. Patty's Day late, which is, I love it, you know. And then I keep getting this energy of Valentine's Day coming in. Like, yes, Valentine's Day already passed, but Valentine's Day, the spirit of Valentine's Day can happen any day, just like the spirit of any holiday, of anything. It's never too late to celebrate family, love, friendship, ancestry, things like that. And it's funny because the song on the radio now is Sword from the Stone, and I know in the Daily Vibes I definitely had a lot of Sword in the Stone movie sort of vibes going on. But I'm really getting the sense that the energy of this week, and we'll pull some more cards and we'll see. The energy of this week kind of feels like that, like for a fair amount of you, you might be in the space of being like, I'm just done. I'm just done putting all of my energy into this. Is the card on the bottom, the Angel of Strength in reverse. And underneath that, Yin and Yang in reverse. Under that, the Sun. We've got the seventh chakra in reverse. That crown chakra. The crown is not on. It's almost like I give up. I put my crown down. I won't be strong anymore. Or I'll internalize it. Like if you were being strong in the sense of sharing your feelings, being a good communicator, you know, making your feelings known, you're kind of going the other way, and you're like, it's not in a cynical sort of way necessarily, but there is a little bit of that energy. It's that, like, now that you've released things and you've really done it, the storm is over. The cycle, I mean, look at it. It's a cyclone, right? It's very fitting in there. The cyclone is past. You learned to dance in the hurricane because you stood in the eye. And it may be that over the next 7 days, probably, I would say, at least going up to the full moon in Libra, that you're not quite seeing the stuff in 3D that you'd really like to see. And maybe you're even getting in some other information that's like contrary to what you know is true in your heart. And so what you feel like your heart is telling you, you're kind of like, no, it's too good to be true. There could be no way that people are secretly planning good things for me, or that I'm going to get everything that I want, or that it could turn out so romantically. And then it feels like what's going to come after that is, I mean, you know, the part in the rom-coms where, like, it's typically the woman, like, she's put in a whole bunch of energy. Yeah, see, and there's a fair amount of people taking energy off of work too. Sparkle on. There, it's funny because there is this clash of the Titans energy too, and I've been thinking to do a reading for that itself, which maybe I'll do that separately. Um, but there's definitely big stuff going on, and it feels like, okay, that part in the rom-coms, hello Autumn, where, like, let's say, I, I want to say the woman, but I want to say like the protagonist, the one who's like giving and giving, like, I love you, and or like somebody goes, I need to show my love, and they give it and they give it and they give it and they show it, and then they're like, fine, I won't do it. I give up. I'm not gonna fight for you anymore. I'm not gonna stop the wedding. I'm not gonna pursue you. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. And then the other party goes, oh crap, like that was real, and I have these feelings too, and I want them. And like they get all the signs and the synchronicities, and then they've got to like rush to get there just in time to stop some sort of disaster from happening. And the other party's like they're feeling like, man, you took me through storms, like, and you don't even know half the internal storms that I went, strength and the battle for balance, and trying to be happy and adventurous along the way and holding faith, and now you're here. Like, now you're here, the storm is over. I don't believe it. Like, you've always been the king or queen of drama, this must be a trick, sort of thing. It's kind of the overall energy that I'm getting, and but it feels good because, like, at least as they were shuffled now, it's the Queen of Hearts in reverse in the heart of the matter. And it feels like, whereas typically I would read that as like, well, I don't know. I do see it as there's definitely heart hurts, feminine heart hurts in there. But it feels like, at least for those of you watching, that this is very likely to be a rebalancing of that, a correction of that, redemption. And it's going to be better than you ever imagined it to be. And it comes in because a lot of times, it's funny, they say expect the unexpected, be open to all outcomes, because it's often, and they talk about release, release it all, because what you want and what you need almost always comes in when you don't need it anymore, or when you think that you don't want it, when you're pushing away at it, when you're running from it. And this feels like one of those moments to where, assuming this does happen for you, don't run from it. Really think about your feelings about it. If somebody presents you with an opportunity, even if every bit of logic and everybody around you is like, no, don't do it, you just say, I'm going to pray about it, and do that. Meditate on it. Think about it. Now let's see if we can get a couple more cards in here. I am going to say, though, especially with that strength in reverse, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling emotional, if you're feeling like you're in jello with the phasing, shifting energies and stuff, go ahead and rest. You don't have to push. In fact, there's a lot of energy right now to hold still. Oh, goodness. All right, those two wanted to come out. Oh, interesting. We have financial constraints in reverse and anxiety in reverse. And on the bottom, man holding a coin. There's card number 43, which is 7. That's a chariot and victory. That would be card 18, which is usually related with the moon. And I love that how that's, yeah, definitely tired. I'm feeling the tired stuff too. That's part of why I'm like, do I want to do readings? But you know what? I think it's good sometimes that we get ourselves into doing good things in moderation even when we're really tired. Anyways, I like how anxiety is the 18th card. It's very much related to the moon card. And because looking at it can sometimes give you anxiety because you're like, what does it mean? What does it all mean? There's all these signs and synchronicities and symbols, and which one am I supposed to focus on? And it feels much like that's part of the energy that we've been in. And then this financial constraints card, the 13th card, is related to the death card. And it's kind of funny because it has a closet on it with cobwebs in it, and I'm kind of feeling that Eminem song. I'm sorry, Mama, I never meant to hurt you, never meant to make you cry. So tonight I'm cleaning out my closet, right? And oh, interesting. So now the hot topic card is that 7th chakra card in reverse still. But you know the great thing with these two cards, because I've looked at these cards in the book too, so not only do I pick it up intuitively, but I know it from there, is that when the anxiety card is in reverse, it means the anxiety is no longer there. And when the financial constraints card is in reverse, it means they're not there. So in the next 7 days, I mean, the storm is over. The financial constraints that were causing anxiety, not there anymore. And it looks like it's very much to do with man holding a coin, which is very King of Pentacles. And I know in the daily vibes I talked somewhat about that. Let's see what's at the heart of the matter here. Oh, interesting. Blossoming abundance in reverse. Card number 3. You know, and especially with the angelic figure on the 7th chakra, what I'm kind of getting the sense of, yeah, let's see what's underneath the world reverse. Goddess of the moon. Indecision. Too late, the disaster already happened. That doesn't necessarily, when the storm is over, usually means a disaster already happened. Things already happened. Um, but interesting, though, I mean, with the man holding the coin, and it kind of feels like this is you and another person reflecting this whole, like, maybe it was that you were the one presenting your feelings. You were the one being real and showing them it could be real, and like in that rom-com-y fashion, and you were like, look, it's love. All you need is love, right? Stop focusing on money and all this stuff. And they were like, I have to work. I have to work. I can't. There'll be drama from karmics. It'll be drama, or you make me anxious, or I'm anxious, or like delay, procrastination. And now this energy is coming in astrologically and in the collective of delayed celebrations of things. And it feels like this man holding a coin it is likely to have been the main person in this anxiety and financial constraint energy. And it's mostly been for show. It's mostly been like, yeah, it's been there, but they've been manifesting those. These have been distractions. These have been reasonable excuses for not connecting, for not working on themselves, and that created storms. But now, now the storm is over. And it's likely because with all these feminine energies in reverse, it's likely that, especially if you have been in feminine energy, which is actually, it's funny, they say that's, I'm thinking of several different things all at once. It's likely that you got tired of it. You got tired of the cycles because these are cycles. You got tired of them. You said, you know what, I'm not going to be anxious anymore. And I'm not going to worry about the money. Maybe you had a money connection to them. Maybe they were not paying you child support, or maybe they were asking for money or asking for a place to stay, or they were keeping you as a backup plan or juggling you, and you're like, I'm done. I'm done with that. And so you shut off the connection in many ways, likely to some degree, including the 5D connection, there, that soul connection in there. And you started to focus on you and seeing this just underneath, or well, just on top of that hot topic card. And then the man holding the heart is just above that one. So it's like you were like, I'm just gonna relax. I said, relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. I don't even know if those are the right words, but like, you were like, okay, I know my feelings, and I also know that I've done what I can. And that this past cycle of me giving, 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 right? I'll do a DM check-in too. But it's like you giving, 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 and you're feeling anxiety, and you're seeing that that anxiety is creating financial constraints on your end, and you're like, no, like, you know what? I want to give to you. I want to keep doing this, but I can't. I'm putting an end to it. You know, storm over, game over. But now it feels like, of course, the minute that you did that, now that person, it doesn't have to be a male or DM, it feels like it kind of is, but they're really examining that. And I think with that blossoming abundance in reverse, they're especially looking at how just having you in their life brought them a lot of abundance that they really took for granted. And they're likely, it feels like a lot of them are kind of in the space of like, well, but I don't want to ask them in just because my money gets better. I don't want to ask them back in because I have a better relationship with these other people when I talk to them. That's messed up. And I look at how much I've been doing that. But that's also causing them to stop and think, wait a minute, wait a minute. If they're the key to my abundance, if the way they think about things, if the way they talk to me, if my thoughts about them, if we're a good team and stuff like that, maybe that's my sign. Maybe that's the sign I've been looking for this whole time. And I mean, there's already been plenty of readings, and I know, I mean, they've come in for me too, of like people coming in who've been saying they have financial constraints, or maybe they've actually gone through them, and coming in and making some of that right. And I feel like there's more of that energy coming in, especially from masculine energies. And I also kind of feel like for those of you that are typically in the DF role, that you're also like, you're like, you know what, I'm not going to have more storms. Not like that. Not that you're unwilling to have the fight, but you don't want to have the same cycle. So you're kind of taking on the energy of this other person. You're like, I'm going to work on my point. I'm going to work on my money. I'm going to do my book or my job or my house, or like you're focusing on material things that are in front of you. And for some of you, you may sense that this, I mean, you're listening to this video, you may sense this absurdity is coming, that the storm is soon to be over because you put your foot down, because you're not over giving to the situation, things like that. But even if you feel that, you're still going to be faced with your own shadows of those thoughts of like, no, I couldn't be that worthy, that worth it to them. I couldn't be worthy of like a flash mob proposal after all the crap I've gone through. I couldn't be worthy of like them coming in and saying, oh, man, you know what, I see you in ways that I never did before, and I want to cherish you for the rest of my life. Or someone new coming in and being like, you know how amazing you are, and like totally being what you expected, and you weren't even looking. Like whatever the thing is that's going to happen, you're still, I mean, a lot of, not even twin flame journeys, just a lot of this human experience journey is about self-worth. And I think that that's kind of like, for those of you that have really worked on this, this is cobwebs, which were shown in that financial constraints card too. It's cobweb stuff. You're mostly there. You're just before the finish line, so don't give up on it. Don't give up. Just that's I did women's semi-pro football once, or tried to. We didn't get enough people on the team to actually do it, but we did some training. I loved doing it, and one of the things the coach would say is most people give up just before they've crossed the finish line because they see that finish line and then they slow down because they're almost there. You should never stop running to get to that finish line until you're 2 feet past it. That's when you stop. And I love that because it's a great metaphor for everything in life. Like, it feels the hardest when you're 2 feet away from that finish line and you know you're almost there and you can collapse and breathe hard and drink water and you've done it. That's actually the hardest time. Most of us don't think about that. We think about the beginning as being the hardest, or like if we have to start over a cycle, you get there. And it's usually right when we're about to get what we want that we sabotage it. We slow down, or we give up already, or we say, no, I'm done. I'm never going to do it again. And it feels much like that energy that you're just about to the finish line. Are you going to sabotage it when it comes in? Do you need another cycle of pushing things away, of pushing away your abundance? Let's see what the Rider-Waite cards have to say. Thank you, Spirit, for showing us some clarity on the next 7 days. Ah, interesting. 7 of Swords reversed. And, of course, the Emperor on the bottom. It's very fitting with our man holding coins. And, what's funny is I feel like, this card typically in reverse is about consequences, facing the consequences of your actions or their actions. It's one of the only cards, I love it because it has a circus in it. And it's actually one of the cards most related to, yeah, a lot of DMs can show up in 7 of Swords energy. It's strategic energy. It's trying to control what people think about you and trying to control your thoughts. It's actually one of the only cards related to chess, which I really love. And so I'm actually seeing, I feel like, okay, there's already this energy of this Libra full moon. It's related to the Justice card. And it feels like this is kind of a just desserts sort of time, and the full moon is happening in the middle of the next 7 days. And it kind of feels like, well, I'm not sure if it's different timelines or if it's the same timeline. So, this is a collective reading. Take what resonates. Don't worry about the rest. It's for somebody else. It feels like somebody was trying to put on, like they tried to have a strategy to get away from something. And they also tried to have a strategy, like they were doing this upright thing. They were trying to have a strategy to give the image of stability, confidence, um, fatherhood, like being secure, and they weren't. And let's see what's on the hot topic. Interesting. Hierophant. They may have tried to do this through work commitments, long-term relationship commitments, marriages, things like that. Here's in the heart of the matter, the Chariot card in reverse, but it's just been stress. Just stress. Let's look at what else is under this Emperor. Yeah, 4 of Swords in reverse. Like, there's no peace and no space for meditation. Probably a lot of narcissistic energy, and they're noticing that they've been in that energy too, and it's disgusting them with it. Which, Hangman reverse, like that new perspective. And their heart really wants. We got 6 of Cups here. Their heart really wants that inner child connection. 5 of Cups in reverse, definitely Tower reverse sort of thing, just continual cycles of knocking over the cups, not being grateful for the cups behind you, not looking for resolutions, looking for excuses instead, continuing to poison the cups with your own poisonous energy. Kind of this ending up being the king of drama because you're trying to hold a situation up, keep the balance in it, but all it's doing is creating misery and drama and towers. And that cycle probably needed to be finished a while ago. And it feels like that this person, whether it's you or someone you're thinking about, they're really actually stopping and learning to take a look at what they do have. And they're recognizing, I mean, yes, they could have more, but they're happy with what little they've managed to scrape together during a circusry situation that they jumped into because they had a lot of immaturity to face and a lot of cycles within themselves and around them that they needed to face. And so they had to be in a situation to where it was so unhealthy and so unhealing and so lacking in those calm waters that they were forced to go within. And it's funny because this card wants to push itself. It, like, I put the other cards down and it wanted to put itself behind the Emperor. They're praying now, or they will be when this happens. It feels like this is the energy of some people getting caught for things and other people coming into the awareness of certain cycles of circusry, of fuckery kind of thing. And it's likely because you came through as a hurricane and said enough, the stormy cycles, and that made them stand up in a way. I know he's sitting down, but it made them stand up. It made them go into themselves and think about what they were doing. And that, in a way, was it. Swords a lot of times are about clarity. And it made them realize that they were carrying a lot of swords that were not their own, very codependently. And it feels like, because this card has a lot to do with strategy, I feel like at some point, probably within the next 7 days, you're going to become aware they had a plan. I think they're becoming aware that there were plans, especially if they're in like a third-party karmic situation, which doesn't have to be romantic. It could be business related, it could be image related, it could be all sorts of things. But if they got themselves into that kind of hot mess, it's likely that this Libra full moon energy, which it's strongest the 3 days before, 3 days after, as well as the day of, in the moment of. And it's likely that it's becoming very clear to them that they got sucked into a circus by others manipulating them and them manipulating themselves. Because it's definitely a deceit card, but it doesn't always have to do with deceiving others. A lot of times, even when we do deceive others and we do lie, it's because we're trying to deceive ourselves more than anything else. And it feels like they're becoming aware, or actually, you know what's funny? For some of you, it feels like they will become aware of this, and for others of you, they've become aware of this. They know that they've been manipulated and they've been held in a situation they already wanted to leave, because sometimes this can actually be a card of looking back at the past, and it can be a card about a strategic effort to get away. And you know what? That's what it kind of feels like. It feels like for some of you, they've already seen what's going on. Maybe it was something that you did that created a storm and towers that like really brought them a whole lot of clarity, and they realized that they were being manipulative in order to protect people manipulating them. And now they're putting in their best efforts to be like they're in situations where they can't just say, you know what, let's just maturely agree to mutually separate because it's not working for either of us. Like, it's funny because the police sirens were going on. They might have been dealing with a siren type person, maybe somebody who's really good with their words or good with gaslighting, or it may be that reverse chariot energy that we saw. It may be that they were really good at whenever something was going too good for this person, or whenever you were connecting with them or things like that, that they could create an emergency. Interesting, Sparkle. Yeah. And it, I mean, it could be like, oh no, I think I'm sick and I need to go to the ER, or oh no, I need you to go to this place and do this thing, or oh, my kids are driving me crazy, I need your help, or oh no, I bought this thing and I meant to return it, and if it doesn't happen in the next hour, I'm gonna have to pay for it. We don't have the money for that. Or they'll allow in certain bits of drama from other people so that they don't have to go, oh yeah, that was my drama. Like, and when, even when you call them out on it, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, it'd be so mean of me not to do this for this person. And I feel like for that person who's facing that, they're probably thinking about how they've been dealing with you, going by advice from the same person, going, no, just cut them off, be dry, don't be nice to them, don't do that stuff. And now they're sitting there going, wait a minute, why is it okay for you to give that kindness and compassion and thoughtfulness to your people, but it's not okay for me? That contradiction, that inconsistency doesn't make any sense. And it feels like, especially with that piece in here kind of looking like a broken chess piece, like the board has been broken, the pieces have flown all over the place, and especially with this in reverse, it almost feels like somebody, you know what it feels like? It's a trap. And not a, oh, I don't even know how you put it. I mean, it's a trap of some kind. Somebody is trying to get some information, and somebody is testing others. And it feels like, it almost feels like multiple people testing multiple people, and kind of that, like the movie Clue, where you're trying to figure out who done it, and just when you think you figured out who done it and who has the motive to do it, it wasn't them who did it, or they were actually good guys, or the people that you would have thought were bad guys actually were good guys. But and then the person that you maybe really thought that did it in the beginning really was the person that did it, but they managed to fool you throughout the way with all that circusry and nonsense and just trapdoors, plot twists, things like that. And it feels like you may be a part of this testing to a certain degree, but likely because if you're in this energy, the storm is over. You're not playing. Yeah, your heart may be in it. You may even have intuitions that good things are coming. You may, I think this leads back to the energy in the beginning. It's funny. So hearing like the police and the ambulances, you may hear things. You may hear of the stress. They may communicate to you that, oh my gosh, like this is crazy, or like I caught them doing this. Like that can be a cheater's card. So maybe they caught somebody cheating. And cheating doesn't necessarily have to be them having sex with somebody else. It could be that they were stealing money, or they were using their identity illegally, or maybe even yours, or like there's some sort of thing that's going to come to light, I think, with this within the next 7 days. And it's likely that either emotionally you're gonna, like, not emotionally, energetically, well, maybe both, you're likely going to feel that energy, that jello mold stuff, things shifting, things happening, especially if this is somebody that you do have a strong 5D connection with. So there's a fire engine. I've been seeing a lot of fire types, of firefly, fireworks, things like that. And so that, in fact, that could be something to be aware of over the next 7 days. There might be fireworks that happen, and it feels very Aries. Hey, Kentucky John, it feels very much like, I want to say, Page of Swords and the Fool, and we can see the Fool in reverse there. It feels a lot like somebody who is very immature is learning those lessons. Hence why we've got, man holding a coin, and he's King of Pentacles upright. That's the most mature king there, just below the Emperor, and we have the Emperor in the shadow card here. Somebody's becoming a man, right? Was it that one from Mulan? Be a man, right? And maybe that's why we have this energy that, like, somebody's going to come and approach you, and in a mature way, in a stable way, and they're not being flashy, and they're not being immature, and it's almost too good to be true. And it's really when you got to stop and ask, like, what do you want to manifest? And what, this could be a boss, this could be a parent, a child, a lover, an ex, a twin flame, you name it. It could come in multiple ways. Typically, in the collective, we see it happening in multiple ways, in multiple places. But it's going to feel like, no, it's got to be a trap or a trick, or it's not there yet. It can't be there yet. It's too fast. It's too shifty. It's too weird. When really, the question is, what reality are you manifesting? Because a lot of times we want these things. We want these silly rom-com imaginative, they come, they're ready to fight for us and do anything that it takes, or they'll say they're sorry, or they'll help, or they'll see us differently. And then when we get it, we question it. And that's a self-worth thing. And we get to this place to where we're like, we don't believe it and we push it away and we sabotage it, or we haven't faced our feelings, our resentments. We haven't gotten to the place where we've released those things. And so when the good comes in, we get triggered, and then we start to really like almost attack the other person who is genuinely trying to put in a real effort into things. And it's not like that isn't righteous a lot of the times, but it's one of those energies of, would you rather be right, or would you rather be happy? You know? Or as Kentucky John said, would you rather be a rock star? All right, well, I think I'm going to leave this reading here as it is. And I might do I'm torn on doing like a DMT and check-in, or like a DF energy check-in, or just doing another reading for the collective, or I might do some live card pulls and things like that. I don't know. There's a lot of jello-y energy, a lot of shifting energy. Hello, Cheryl. And I'm definitely feeling that. It's funny. It's that exhaustion, and yet it's also not like you're exhausted, but you're not exhausted enough to sleep. But that restful, I'm just going to take a shower and not worry about it kind of thing. Which maybe that's what I'll go do. Maybe you should do that too. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, and singing along. I'll see you in the next video.